Welcome to the Judgment-Free Zone. You've downloaded the Alcohol-Free Marriage and More podcast with Matt and Amy, recorded live from the cornfields of Central Illinois. Welcome to episode number 82 for May 8th, 2024.
Well, hello there, children. Welcome back to your weekly freak show, or mostly weekly or roughly weekly freak show that is the Alcohol-Free Marriage and More podcast. I'm Matt, along with the always lovely and pretty much back in normal condition, Coach Amy. How are you, my love?
I am doing well.
You are. You're slim, you're trim, you're walking on both feet.
I'm walking again.
That was really our main goal, was to get you walking on both feet.
It's been a really busy, 3 weeks?
It feels like, at least. Yes.
3 weeks? Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about our marriage coaching wrap up, like our intensive class thing, followed right by me going on to a trip. So it was in some projects.
Me falling down and
that is, but before
slowing everything down, not being able to do anything.
But before you fall down, kids, be sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. Just go down there and click that little button and like it. It doesn't cost you nothing. It helps us out a little bit. And share it with a friend or an enemy. Either one helps us either way.
And make sure that you get our updated guide.
Which updated guide?
The Beyond Spirits.
Our 7 tips for starting your alcohol-free journey.
And you know what? We know it works because it's what we did.
It works, see? So it has to work for somebody else, right?
And
while you're out there, down there in those comments down below, we also have a link to our weekly, what is it even called? I put our weekly marriage reboot guide. Or 7 days to reboot your marriage, or what do we call that? You don't remember either, do you?
No. It was, no.
It's out there, and there's a link.
Is it?
I think.
Don't
worry, if it's not out there, I won't link it, but I'm 90% sure I have a link down there. I'm pointing down to the floor like it's down below me, but it's really, but anyway.
It is called a Reflect and Reconnect
Amy
with your spouse. I don't think you have that out there yet. I think that's the new one. We have our marriage meeting guide.
Marriage meeting guide. That's the one I'm talking about.
You're getting ahead of yourself.
There's a marriage guide out there.
Our
weekly marriage guide is
It's
out
our
there.
weekly marriage meeting guide.
I
You are so cute.
I have so many guides.
Because we do have a new resource that will be coming, but
that is 7 days for your marriage, but there's actually 8 days.
It's a reflect and reconnect with your spouse. It's a 7-day devotional.
Yeah, that's coming soon to a podcast near you.
And so it's something.
A lot of free stuff for you kids. That's what I'm saying.
Lots of information, lots of, being able to, it goes right along with our marriage coaching.
Yes.
That we're doing. And so
all the content we learn from marriage, becoming the fantastic marriage coaches that we are. Apparently not organizational coaches, but that's why we had our friend Crystal Clear, Crystal from Crystal Clear Professional Organizing, come in.
And let me just say,
if you're in the cornfields, I highly recommend you call her.
It was,
especially if you're married, hire a helper.
Yes, it really, for the 2 spaces that we had, and as she said, we went to the worst of the worst. Like, usually she likes to start off with, let's do this closet area, or let's organize your pantry, or something like that. But we said,
let's go big.
Hey, we have this back room that is a complete
train wreck and then some.
Yes. And then she found our other train wreck, which was another closet.
Yeah, it kind of snowballed.
And it all kind of went together, but it all worked out. But it was on the last day was the day that I literally sprained and chipped a bone.
Oh, you sprained the ankle, chipped the bone, yes.
Yeah, my ankle. And so, but it's done. And
you powered through.
And we got rid of a lot of stuff.
But let me tell you, married folks out there, when you're trying to organize, and even if you're not married, but still, having an intermediary, a third party who has no stake in the game. No. I mean, they want it organized, but they have no connection to the crap that you're looking through. Really helps you separate from the stuff and have better conversations with your spouse, your partner, whoever. Because you're like, oh, okay, we're following these rules and these directions. She
has her rules, and we're going to need to get her back on again.
Yes.
Just to kind of talk through the process that we did.
And she doesn't usually work with couples, so that was new for her too.
Yes, and she loved it.
Yeah.
I mean,
we did a bunch of video on it. You have a video testimony. I don't know if I'm allowed to link that yet, but
yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
But it was really also, she comes in and she's a coach.
Yes.
She's coaching you through the process on how to get rid of things. And honestly, it's silly, some of the stuff we were finding.
Yep.
She was like, "Are you going to keep this?" Like, I found this little goofy flyer for, what was it, like?
I don't know.
DVDs or...
Oh, yeah. The old, remember the kids, the old CD, DVD clubs? Yeah, the Disney DVD club.
It was VHS.
Was it VHS? Oh,
yes.
It's adult.
And so she was like...
The video clubs, yeah. Columbia House.
If we're keeping this, I think we might have a problem. And I was like, nope, we're going to get rid of that.
I think the one thing that having somebody like Crystal help you when you're organizing is you and I would have gone in there and been like, all right, take it all out. Some stuff we'll donate, some stuff we'll throw, and we just put it all back.
And we wouldn't have gotten rid of the amount that we got rid of. And we still have a few little projects that we have to go through.
Right.
But we were able to put everything back. We're able to, as she said, you take a rest. Yep. You pause, you enjoy the space now. You're so much more efficient with all of your photography stuff.
Oh, yes. That's so nice.
It's really nice to be able to go into now my decorator closet.
And actually go into it, not kind of...
Go into it. And, there's
thing.
like, I have my, based on space, I have my seasonal clothes,
right?
Which that's another thing I probably could go through, but not right now. But I have those in there, but they fit and they're off to the side, and you can walk in, and it is a.
She brings, and when you're putting it back, she brings you things are organized by logical grouping. Like you have your organization closet. Well, if we move this to here, and then this can go with this, and then things.
And she helped with another. She helped with another closet area too, and then she gave us some ideas, and so.
Well, because it becomes almost Tetris-esque. Like you move one thing, and then this can go there. But then I noticed you really start to click, because as we went along, I'm like, I realize where this goes now.
Things bleed into other areas.
It's like, this pen, I know where this pen goes. This pen has a home over here, and you just take it there, and it's home, and you're done. Yeah.
And I think what I also really liked, and there's a couple, like I'm sitting there going, oh, well, if I take this up to this area, right now I'm like, oh, that means I've got to go through that area. So we have some stuff that is staged,
right?
To give us a little bit of a break.
The other great thing about her, when you're donating, she takes your donations for you. So they don't sit around. They give you a chance to go, oh, wait, maybe I'll keep that.
No, she gets it. She gets it out. She's like, no, let's go. And she really helped us go through areas, like evaluate, is this something that you really want?
Right. Or
is this something that, or
especially family heirloom stuff, she was really helpful with that type of stuff.
And do you really want to keep this? And, we each have like a keepsake box now. But like, for example, over there, we have my grandfather's catcher's mitt.
Right.
And I'm like, well, if you're going to have it.
Display it.
Right. Probably if we put a shelf up in here, we could probably put it on a little shelf. But for right now.
Yeah, the side of the podcast studio y'all don't see on YouTube is our son's, now his leftover room, I guess you'd call it, but it's baseball themed.
It's his guest. It's a guest room.
Yeah,
but it's his room. When he comes home, it is his room.
But
there's still stuff in that closet that are his thing. So,
but I would highly recommend.
I would recommend her.
Totally,
and
she is totally worth it. Coach Amy, I want to get to our drinks of the week.
Okay.
So we have a cool thing for our listeners. An opportunity for you if you are interested. But we'll get to that in a second. What is your drink of the week? Because I'm very excited about mine.
My drink of the week, and this is because I think it's we're getting spring and we're getting into summer. It is the Hop Water Peach. I love it. I love it. I know we've highlighted. Let the record show
that I picked out the peach. Or no. Oh, I went the grapefruit. That's the one I picked out was grapefruit.
We do have grapefruit. I like it too. But I think this is all that's left.
I think that may be the last can. Or is peach the only thing that's left?
I don't know. No, I think peach is all that is left. I think you drank.
I drank all the grapefruit.
And the grapefruit is good. But Hop Water, 0 calories. Very refreshing. It has ashwagandha, L-theanine.
Nootropics.
Yeah.
And pro tip, kids. So I went to go buy this online because I didn't find the flavor in town. And on Hopwater's website, it's more expensive than if you go to Thrive Market. And Thrive Market's like an online grocery store thing. I don't know what they are really, but it was the same price we buy for at our grocery store, but I could find all the flavors. And I forgot. Oh, I already drank it. Dang it. The black cherry Hopwater.
Oh.
That was amazing.
That was good. You let me have a sip.
Yes, one sip.
So we need to get some of that ordered.
I am featuring my new favorite. Well, I have many favorites.
That is really good, what you're holding up
So
there.
this is a collab with Walker Hayes and Athletic Brewing called Fancy Like, based on his song Fancy Like. I don't even know what kind of. It's just a classic American pale, but it's
a good beer.
It is a solid beer. Good. I don't know, just a good summer flavor. Maybe that's the thing I like about it. I don't know.
I think it's just fun too. Because,
I'm a huge Walker Hayes fan.
Yeah,
so.
he doesn't drink,
Right.
and it's great that they are partnering up. We went last. That was like one of our first
a year ago.
concerts back.
Oh, after COVID and after sober and everything. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, like a major concert.
Right.
So that was a lot of fun, and it is really good.
Yes. And Amy, it's only 60 calories, so that goes along with your, this is 0 calories for Hopwater. So
I really, and if it's going to come down to the calories, I've kind of, because what I'm doing right now, which we're going to get into, I'm like, all right, and today has been a day with some extra calories.
you got the ice cream. Well, yeah,
Yes.
Coach Amy found a coach that she could trade some work with. So she has a fitness coach who's getting her in shape, and she is getting the fitness coach.
We're working together.
Yeah.
We're
Everybody
working
has their
together.
challenge. Use your
and
strengths to raise each other up.
And it has been, it's a 12-week program.
But it's not just about the thing
It's
I like about her.
not-
It's not just
no.
about the scale.
No.
It's about lifestyle change, and it's about your whole body change.
It's a mind, body, spirit.
Can other people do her program or just?
You can. I don't want to put anything out there yet.
Okay.
Just because
Are we going to have her on the podcast?
I'm hoping.
Okay.
We're not quite there yet.
Gotcha.
But she is amazing.
Right.
And
You have some new recipes that we've been trying.
The whole it's a transformational program. I mean, you are working on. I mean, first off, there's so much information that comes at you. It's a huge learning curve.
It was a bit of that.
I mean, I did have like a meltdown. What was it? In a couple weeks in,
You're like,
oh,
dude, this is stupid. We're gonna do all this.
I can't do all this. And
I think part of it was you use these apps to track a lot of this, and you kind of have to build your foundation.
I was writing everything, which is really good in the beginning because she wants you to write everything down just to kind of see where you're at.
So don't change, just write it down.
I was kind of writing everything down. And then Luke has had a great app, and I can't remember what it's called. I mean, I guess I can look it up, but it is a really good app to log everything because you need to learn how to log all the macros.
Right.
And when anybody would say that, when Luke would talk to us about that, I'm not kidding. My eyes, it just completely glaze over. I'm like, what?
I'm like, we're not that fitnessy.
I'm like, oh my gosh, another thing to learn, but once you start to figure it out, because honestly, it's more healthy, more protein and more healthy fats,
less sugar, less carbs.
pretty much, no more boxed food, which I'm okay with. I mean, there's
the
some
processed stuff, yeah.
But there is better things,
Right.
organic, trying to do organic as much as you can. We have an amazing, what is it? I guess we should put that as a recommendation. The Bolt House ranch
salad.
dressing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a healthy
so good.
ranch dressing, right?
It is so good. I can have 2 tablespoons. Woohoo! I mean,
going crazy with the ranch.
I mean, it's just
Most people would be like 2 tablespoons,
but it doesn't have like all like the sugars and
right. There's a lot of hidden sugar out there, kids.
And then also on my own, increasing fiber in your diet and doing all of this, drinking lots of water, which I've always been pretty good with water, but I didn't realize all the hidden...
The skinny pop does not make you skinny.
Well,
we learned that lesson, didn't we?
It's awareness.
Right.
It's, again, just like drinking, it's awareness. And one of the things that I have is I've always had, what do you want to call it? I don't have I have food addiction. I mean,
you do like food more than me.
It's a real thing. You get, and everyone can get, I mean, it's sugar, the processed foods. It's all made to make us want more of it.
Right.
And so, you'd have the popcorn. Well, you want those carbs. And so I'd come home and I'd be like, oh, well, let's have a couple bowls.
It's skinny pop, it's fine.
And then, I love cashews. Well, nuts are healthy.
in the serving size, which is smaller than you would think.
Serving size, and now that I know what the serving size and how many calories are actually in it, I was probably, who knows,
we figured between
300 calories.
Then we figured between your popcorn and the cashews and one other thing, you had like 500 calories.
It was going to be like 500 calories.
Just in that one.
And then you look at like your portion sizes
right.
You're like, I will have...
When you showed me how much a portion or a serving of cashews was, I'm like, ooh, I mean way more than a serving.
Well, but again,
it's like 4 nuts.
We're the opposite. Like 10 grams is probably, I mean, it's not much. It's a tiny thing, but when you crush
that's the problem. Everything's in grams. Who knows grams?
I know it. Now I'm loving it. Now I'm getting into it.
I heard a conspiracy about sugar. The reason it's grams instead of tablespoons or teaspoons is because, well, they want it to be more, want people to be able to understand it better, and it would be really based on like, a real measurement. Like, people know what a teaspoon is. People don't know what a gram is. Gram is actually better for them.
I measure everything now.
Oh yes, we weigh.
And then but my fruit, like I have eggs and spinach. That has stayed exactly the same.
Yep.
That I'm eating it. It's a healthy breakfast. I have my eggs, spinach, and I have my olive oil. Put all that together. Great. And then I would have a big bowl of mangoes, or I'd have a big bowl of strawberries,
or bananas,
and bananas, and everything's permissible, but everything isn't beneficial to you.
Oh, well put.
So that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's like, no, I'm eating everything that I want, but it's like, well, if I have that, then there's a trade-off. And I'm also realizing that I don't need near the amount of food now that I'm eating more protein, and I've gotten into MCT
oil. You get into a lot of things.
It's good.
We don't have time to list all of those here.
My coconut oil, all of these things, and so I've been doing. This is week 9. Yeah,
sure.
I just finished week 8, and I'm down 9 pounds.
But see, just like drinking and other things, if one person does it, the other one usually comes along, because the eating, like, it's like, well, we eat together anyway, so.
But the other thing is like your breakfast, you're having like a shake and you're having eggs. Like you're eating more. I wasn't doing that. It was
I have a hard time getting
enough
calories. You have a hard time getting too many calories.
Yeah, mine is the snacks. But I will tell you, and I'm not. I mean, I guess I'm not going to show them yet. But I'm taking also progress pictures, and that at the end of this, I will show
you before and after.
my the progress through. And this
that is definitely a motivator.
That is a huge motivator, because I will tell you, when I took the very first pictures, I think that probably also is going to threw me into this slump. Like, oh my gosh.
If it starts to feel like a big hill to climb.
It does, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But
just like you're drinking, Amy, you drank for how many thousands of days? You're not going to fix it all in 30 days. And same thing with eating. You eat crap and for long enough, you need to fix it.
But my big thing is that, and this is kind of my motto. It's like, you have to take on a new identity. Just like drinking, I had to take on the identity of a non-drinker. Right. And I'm a non-drinker, and that's fine. So I'm now having to take on the identity of I am a healthy eater.
Right.
And so you have to go in and you have to kill the old identity.
Well, and you've said this for years.
You just have to say, no, it's over. That is the past. I'm done with it.
And you don't really exercise any more than you did before.
I have increased
a little bit,
not a lot.
But
though.
You've always said you can't exercise away a bad diet.
No, and I didn't think I had that bad of a diet, and I honestly didn't think I'm like, I'm not that bad.
You were way better than you had been, but you're way better than you were.
And I had, when I quit drinking, I had lost about 12, 15 pounds, 14 pounds.
You'd already played out your cheat code,
and I really kept that off.
Well, yeah, because you didn't start drinking again. But that was an easy one to drop.
So that went off, but then you have the sugar. And I even within the last probably 2 years, I've gone up and then down, but not as far. I haven't seen this number on the scale for decades.
Well, we've increased the gap between you and I in weight too, so that's good.
Yeah, we're like, okay, gain weight.
Yeah. Get mad, gain weight. Amy, lose weight.
So it's, you know what, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
She's a macro lady now.
I am. And now that I have, the app, but I'm also, because I don't want to do this again. I want this to be the lifestyle. And I think that has to be the big change. And that is the part that kind of scares me. But then I'm like, why does that scare you? You didn't think you could quit drinking and you did that.
Right.
But I think the big thing is because it's food and we
have to eat. You just have to pick what you eat smartly.
And I think, it's not been that hard after, you get over that initial hump. And I will say that, about 3 or 4 days, once you're getting that sugar and the processed foods out of your system.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Which I can see why.
There is a withdrawal. There is irritability.
Right.
That was so much on par with the alcohol. I
don't necessarily endorse Nutrisystem, but I think the meal aspect of it is what makes it attractive and helps people, because that's the biggest thing. It's like portion control. You got to measure what's it having. If you don't have to think about that, that makes the process easier. But you do have to teach yourself to fish. You can't live off of that forever. You have to learn how to live that way.
And I think, and we might have already talked about this on the podcast about like being out. We were out at an event that you were recording. You were doing a video for, and they had cookies.
Oh, yeah.
And you looked at me when I described it to you like, oh, yeah. I went in and I saw them. I saw the cookies there. And I was obsessing about them. I kept staring at them. And then everybody who was eating them, I was watching them eat it. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. And then we had to get up. And we went outside. And I didn't go back inside. I'm like, I got to stay away from these cookies. And it was a fixation. Just like alcohol.
Yep.
And when I told you that, you were like, what? You kind of gave me the crazy girl look. You're like, oh, okay, that's interesting, but it's real.
Okay, Amy. Well, on from weight loss journey. Sorry, I don't have any transition music. I used to have transition music. So Coach Amy and I have completed our marriage coaches training. So we are certified marriage 2.0 coaches. Yes. I didn't
have your 2.0 life.
If you are interested in being a test monkey for us, a guinea pig, a beta.
Well, we have some beta pricing available. Yes. Reach out. Amy
at joyontheotherside.com. We're at one or two. We don't have time to do a whole bunch of people, but
we're looking to work with a couple, and it is a process of going through. It's not just coming in and
it's like, oh, do this and you'll be fixed.
And talking, but no, it's the process we went through. You know, it was so thorough.
Oh yeah. I mean, you start with a full assessment, and then you sort of walk through, and you get the background,
and you learn how to listen. You learn how to communicate. You learn what your communication style is.
Your spouse's communication style.
How you connect. The negative patterns that have been established.
from your childhood.
Yep.
And a lot of the, what is your type and how does that impact how you work in your marriage, and recognizing that as much in yourself as you do in your spouse to work together on those things. You have God tools that help you get through this. You have, you learn about the
truth versus lies.
Well, yeah, but the fades, slow fades
in marriage.
That's where our weekly marriage meeting comes from. That's more of a kind of a maintenance tool, I guess, versus a coaching tool. But
I'm really connecting with each other. I think the biggest thing is to really find those core patterns. And it's not, with coaching, we're moving you forward, but you do have to go back and figure out a few things and go, and just being aware, that's why I'm doing this.
Right.
My mom and dad. My dad was a vacillator. My mom was an avoider, or whatever that is.
And you start seeing that the more you know.
And you naturally are born with certain tendencies, and then as a child, it really does develop because it's a survival mechanism.
Right.
And then you get to an adult, and you're like, why am I doing this?
I think the biggest thing my big takeaway, at least from our intensive weekend kind of finale, you could call it, I guess, was just, one thing that's very helpful, I guess, may not required, but probably very needed, is you have to be willing to have hard conversations or difficult, not say hard, but difficult, me being the kind of a pleaser avoider. It's like, I don't really want to, but if you go across that bridge, as bumpy as it may be, you get to the other side and you're like, oh, now, it can be hard, but you have a better understanding. You may have to vent some things and talk about some things, but doing it with coaches helps you do it in a structured, controlled environment. Kind of like, just to go back to organization. You can do it by yourself, but it doesn't really end up getting you to a better point at the end. It's just a different point.
And I think, but anything worthwhile, and if you're going to go through something, the hard path, you have to go through it.
Right.
And when you sit and either numb or disengage,
right,
you're not moving yourself forward. And I think that, there's some painful things there. And the couple who went through it, wow, I just, what an amazing couple that they want their marriage to work, and they're fighting for it.
And those are hard conversations to have in front of
two
other people, let alone, was there 9 of us with all the coaches? Because all the coaches doing their final. So they had this whole spectator group, and they were very vulnerable, very,
But the other thing that was so good was Jill and Mark did such a good job with them and said, look, we're giving, there's this opportunity. We would like to do this with you. Will you be willing to help us with the coaches? And then they also opened it up to us and said we could contribute.
Right.
And I think...
Which let us practice what we had learned.
Was so good to have those conversations. Right. And I will say, I connected with both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, what they were going through and why, why they were doing the things that they were doing, but also realizing that they have 2 kids and they're like, we want this to work for our kids.
Right.
And we want to provide good communication and good skills for them so that they will grow up and be, productive citizens and not have all of this baggage that they're going to take to to their relationships.
Yeah. And, it's obviously how, marriage coaching is helpful for any marriage. Obviously if you're in some sort of crisis, sure. But if you address it sooner, like our marriage wasn't in crisis, but it has grown stronger learning these skills and tools that we have.
Were stagnant.
That's probably a fair statement.
I think we
especially you start the empty nester thing. And
I feel really fortunate that we started when we did that program because it was kind of like, okay, hey, Maggie's leaving. Let's start this, because if we wouldn't have started that program, it would have been like, okay, what are we going to do? And I mean, we have now picked up on little things. Like I can pick up, okay, he's getting irritated.
But even what was it? Was it yesterday? Oh, well, the weekend when we're looking at plants, we're the plant store. It gave me, I don't know the right word. It's not, maybe it's trust in you versus courage for myself, that I could say, hold on, this is what I'm feeling.
Yes.
Like, hey, I want to let you know, I'm feeling that, like, I want to do what we're doing, but this, that, and that, like, I'm feeling this way about this
like,
right now.
You're like, what's the plan? Yeah. And I looked at you,
like,
and
I don't know what we're doing. I'm feeling lost. Help me understand,
Yes. And I looked at you and I said, I don't know what the plan is.
Plants are expensive as hell.
Because because the one greenhouse that we would go and get, not all, but
a lot of our stuff.
A lot of stuff is closed. They're gone. And so it was like, I don't know, because I have not really shopped at this place before. I don't know what I need. I'm trying to figure it out. The place is packed.
But that gave us a chance to reset and decide together versus we'll just muscle through and hate every minute.
We had this mini little appointment in the middle of this garden center going.
Where I never would have done that before. I would just sucked it up, powered through, and like, you're like, well, let's go home. And I would be like, no, don't just pick out your crap. It would have not gone. That's when I was like,
yeah, that would have been one of those irritation things where we would have gotten at it, Yeah. But
because one of the tools that you learn through our program is safe conversations. Now, we didn't use the actual script in that scenario, but you do enough safe conversations that you start to learn, even ad hoc kind of like that, how to bridge the conversation and be like, hey, hold on, I'm feeling something, and you learn to trust that you can share that with your partner, your spouse, and it ends up, and I think through experience and time, you realize, oh, I do this, and the world doesn't come crashing down.
And that was the other thing, is we went through the day and we got everything, and we came home and we were working on stuff. I'm like, all right, okay, you know what? There was a lot of give and take between the two of us.
Right.
And I know it seems like it's a kind of a silly thing, but it's the little things in your marriage that eventually they will add up, and they can create a big communication problem.
You build a wall one brick at a time. So.
Yes. So the two of us going, you even made a concession earlier in the day. You're like, you know what, let's go, because you wanted to wash cars and that's how you like to decompress. But you're like, let's go first. And I know you're thinking, I can get her set up in her little plant project and she will leave me alone so I can wash these cars and have my enjoyment. We did that. And then as we came back together at the end of the day, I was like, all right, we're done. And I was kind of like looking around, and I knew that there were, Sunday we can do some of these things. And then at the end on Sunday, it was like, not everything's done. We can come back to it next weekend. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It ultimately, and we had a great weekend together.
We did.
It was kind of...
That's why you didn't get a podcast.
Our dating, it was like a dating / let's just be together, working on projects around the house. We went to see Unsung Hero, which was a great movie. Yes. And so we just did things together because we know that Maggie's coming home on Friday.
Yeah,
so
our college student will be home for the summer. So
it's like, okay, this was kind of our last little free weekend.
Yeah.
So,
but if you want to be part of our beta pricing and give this coaching thing a try in your marriage and your relationship, reach out to Amy at joyontourside.com. We would love to talk with you and see if you would.
If we're all a good fit.
It's not an intensive weekend.
We're honestly, that was
just our wrap up of our. That was like a graduation.
Well, you
weekend.
can that's part of Jill and Mark's program,
right? And that could be part of ours. But we're not quite there.
And we're
yet.
not. But we're thinking we're going to start with just doing couples coaching, or if there's. And the other thing that we have learned through this is that if you're wanting to have some coaching around your relationship, if you're, an individual, it helps with your marriage as well.
Yep.
If you have you're like, all right, we're going to be committed. We are committed. My spouse is not going anywhere, but they've said they're not going to work on it. I can guarantee you, if you work on you,
right, yep.
It will improve your communication in your relationship, because when that's exactly what I did when I quit drinking. It was like, I'm going to work on me.
Right.
I'm going to go out there, and it gives you the tools to be able to extend grace and compassion to your spouse in those different moments. And it really does work.
It does.
So
it does. Well, that's it, kids. You reach out to Amy at jointheirirside.com, and you can be one of the lucky first.
I think it'll be exciting.
I think it will be.
And, that's a part of what we're doing is, being the light out there into the world, saying, hey, you know what? We want you to have a good marriage.
We do. We want you to have a good marriage. We want you to be sober. We want you to just have a good life.
I don't care I want you to be alcohol free.
But you can drink alcohol and still have a good marriage. So
that's
you don't have
you know what?
Caveat.
And
you don't have to quit drinking to do the marriage program. But we may talk you out of it too at the same time.
Maybe there's a lot of benefits.
There you go. All right, kids. That's it for us for this week for the alcohol-free marriage and more.
This was a more podcast.
In case you were curious. All right, kids. Well, we'll catch you next week. Wishing you peace and love from the cornfields. I'm Matt, along with Coach Amy, and we are
out.